In this video, I'll show you how to make a millinery sandbag. It's a useful tool for some hat blocks that have concave tips. If the tip of your hat block is relatively shallow but still has a shape to it, you might be able to use a sandbag to block it. If your hat block has intricate shapes or very deep cuts, a sandbag might not help. Sandbags also won't help a whole lot when it comes to side dents like trilbies or fedoras. Sandbags are mainly used for shallow concave details. You'll need paper, a ruler, a pencil. You'll also need four-way stretch lycra. This is what is used on swimsuits. Most other four-way stretch knits aren't as dense as this, and this helps keep the sand in place as we work with it. The outer casing of the sandbag is made with a very thin leather. This is either chamois, deerskin, or leather lining. Do not use a synthetic vinyl for this. It will deteriorate too quickly over time. To fill our sandbag, we'll be using playground sand. You can get this at any home improvement store. Place the hat block on the paper and trace around the base. Draw a 1.5 to 2 inch halo around the traced shape. This ensures that the sandbag covers the tip of the hat completely. It also builds in some seam allowance for the next steps. Now, cut out the shape. Pin the pattern piece to 2 layers of lycra swimwear knit. Cut out the 2 layers. Pin the 2 layers together. Using a serger or a zigzag stitch on a regular sewing machine, you're going to sew all the way around the lycra, leaving an opening about the width of a hand. If using a basic zigzag stitch, you'll want to go over this seam at least twice. You're going to sew this seam at a 1/2 inch seam allowance. When completed, you'll have an opening that we can put sand into. Trace and cut 2 layers of leather using the pattern piece. Roll a piece of oak tag or manila folder or cardstock into a cone shape. Tape the end closed. Cut off the end to create an opening. I like to clean off the top to make a smooth round edge. Place your funnel into the opening of your lycra bag. Begin filling the sandbag. You're going to fill it about 3/4 of the way full. You do not want to overstuff the sandbag, otherwise it won't work the way you want it to. When you fill the bag 3/4 of the way full, pin the opening closed. Now sew the opening closed. I don't do anything fancy here. I don't even use a zigzag stitch. I simply use a straight stitch, and I make sure to start stitching before and after the other stitching that was completed on the seam. For the leather, you're going to, wrong sides together, stitch all the way around, leaving about 2 hand spans open so you can get the other bag inside of it. You'll use a 1/4 inch seam allowance here. Do not turn the bag inside out. Now you're going to stuff the lycra bag into the leather bag. There is some sand on the table, and that's because the lycra alone is not enough to keep the sand in place. We do need the leather casing on the outside to make sure the sand stays in the bag. Once the lycra bag is inside the leather bag, you can sew that edge closed. And again, you're just going to sew at a 1/4 inch seam allowance, closing it up. And that completes the construction of the sandbag. To use it, once you have your material blocked over your block, protect the tip with some cling wrap. Place the sandbag on the tip and punch down the sand to fill in the grooves of the indentation. Let this dry for at least 24 hours, as it does tend to keep a little bit more moisture in and does take a little bit longer to dry. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, ask in the comment section, and look forward to more millinery videos in the future.